Hi fairies! In today's video, we'll showcase all of my doll concepts, including those I designed in my sketchbook. Some of the designs were even brought to life, and we'll explore them together. This is my sketchbook where I started drawing dolls 2 years ago. My mom bought it for me, knowing how much I love whimsical art. Each of my dolls has its own elixir because I adore miniatures and Harry Potter. It's like my signature. First up is the concept of a doll intended to be a butterfly fairy. The original palette was supposed to be purple and orange with black hair. I wanted it to have a slightly alien vibe, which didn't quite work out. Intricate braids, clothing details. The project was successfully realized. Next is the final version of the doll, where I changed the palette to make the details stand out on black hair. I crafted the wings with Eva foam, and in the center, there's more film coated with UV resin for a glossy effect. Details like fur and butterflies are added as purchased components. Later on, I started making and modeling everything myself. The next design was inspired by a white witch, combining elements of the Snow Queen and the White Witch from Narnia. Eventually, I drew inspiration from Pinterest and added a kimono to give it a unique touch. This project was also realized. Tooth fairy sitting on a skull. It was a quick sketch loosely inspired by Hellboy 2, featuring similar menacing creatures. This project wasn't realized. The drawing of a dryad covered in leaves and bark was next, with vines growing from her head. This project wasn't realized. I plan to bring to life the idea of an insect fairy warrior with bird-like legs, armor made of pine cones, various grasses, and standing on a stem. The color palette would be inspired by Avatar. This project wasn't realized. Here's a Tinkerbell concept categorized as fan art, based on Disney's Tinkerbell from Peter Pan. This project was realized. It was the first time I modeled clothing with epoxy sculpt. Elements like hair and a belt were added. The wings are flexible. The doll designed to resemble Alice in Wonderland with inspiration from playing cards and classic wooden BJD dolls. Unfortunately, her stand broke, and she can't stand on her own. The drawing depicts a harpy or bird woman. This project wasn't realized. Another design is my centaur, originally envisioned as a deer but turned into a mix of animals. It was supposed to have pigment spots and play the violin, a detail I omitted but keep for the future. This project was realized. On the next page is the design of an earth fairy with crystal elements ranging in colors from black to pink, purple, and turquoise. It was meant to have a crack with crystals, mushrooms, and sparkling effects on the belly. However, I saw a similar design from another doll artist later on, so I completely abandoned this concept. This project wasn't realized. The first concept for my Shroomy doll is shown here, but we'll get back to that later. One of the designs I'm personally looking forward to the most is the forest spirit from Princess Mononoke. It's meant to be half woman and half deer, incorporating its blue giant form. There's a pose with forest spirits on the right. I'll see when I'll make it, but it's definitely on my agenda for this year. Another doll is inspired by a fairy covered in leaves, birch bark, with a leaf bag and possibly an acorn element, a fairy tale creature in vibrant colors. This project wasn't realized. Sometimes I just sketch something like a three-winged fairy and don't finish it. On the following pages is my upcoming merch that I plan to release within a year. It features illustrations of my dolls and chibi style on t-shirts, mugs, stickers, and more. Just a sketch of Halle Bailey from The Little Mermaid. I made the sketch only for the doll pose. This project was also realized. I think the resemblance turned out quite well despite the fact that the monster-high head model is not entirely realistic. And above all, The Little Mermaid is my favorite childhood movie. On the next page, there's actually only a design for the fins on the doll. This is the first doll for which I made a video on YouTube. No designs, no concepts, just imagination and improvisation. I wanted her to look like she was swimming in a vortex of water, which I succeeded in. I actually came up with the whole doll just because of her hair, which I found on the internet. The mermaid is inspired by the movie Finding Dory. Finally, Shroomy, my second YouTube video. For this doll, I made 3 designs. I liked all 3, and the last one won in the Instagram poll, but I still chose the first one because it seemed simple and stood out to me. I wouldn't know how to make some parts of the other designs. This project was also realized. It's a mushroom with 2 dragonflies, a hat, and a treasure collecting pouch because it's sneaky. Now we see designs related to Dreamy Dough. When I changed the dreamy concept, I needed to come up with a design, so a bra, cloak, gloves, etc. On the contrary, there's Dandelion Doll. It just happened, and I had to make it right away. I even bought a tutorial video from a Russian to learn how to make dandelions. I had a clear idea of her from the beginning. Green with gold, maybe more yellow, which wasn't there in the end, but I'm satisfied. There were also various variations with sleeves and diamonds in the middle of the chest, but in the end, I stuck to the simplest one. This project was also realized. This project was one of the most demanding because I made the dandelions on her head one by one in a complicated process. She has 140 on her head, and she could handle another 50, but my psyche couldn't. So I gave up on that. Here comes a design for my obsession from my childhood, and that is mermaids. I definitely plan to realize this design. It's a design of a fisherwoman with fins all over her body, even on her hair. She should also have fish-like facial features. It should be inspired by the type of freshwater fish betta. Something in the style of Shark Tale or the old animated series from the 90s, Fish Police. This project was not realized. Another design is the Butterfly Oracle. It would be a woman covered in butterfly wings and dressed in dresses with decorations, a bit in a gypsy style. She probably wouldn't have arms, and I would like to model and paint everything. We'll see how and when I succeed. Colors are white and blue, or black and orange. This project was not realized. The next project that was realized is Wisteria. It's concept art from the amazing 2D artist Camilla Rice. Although I had the design and concept figured out, it wasn't necessary to draw it. I wanted to get to know the details, which was the reason for the sketch. I made the drawing based on another design because there was a vote on Instagram and Magnolia's design was leading. In the end, Wisteria's concept won. This was the first work where I had a complete design, so I decided to work more detailed on the designs so that I had a clear idea of what I was doing and didn't have to improvise as much. On the left side is a doll like a candle, a stand on the lid as a pedestal, a dress like flowing wax, and hair like flames. Ideally, she could levitate, which is, of course, unrealistic. She would probably be adorned with various metal accessories and jewelry. This project was not realized. On the right side is a doll that I already made once. It's Ms. Cup. It's my first doll with completely fixed joints, and it turned out quite well, so I wanted her to have a sister here on YouTube too. She should be inspired by ceramics, with gold edges and lavender patterns and colors. One of the last designs that were also realized is Kimio the Mantis. I talked a lot about this doll and concept in my previous video. And finally, the last concept, which is also my current project. It's a doll inspired by the caterpillar from Alice in Wonderland. Originally, I wanted to do something with bubbles, and something from that turned into this. A caterpillar woman blowing bubbles. She will have more arms, a fur around her shoulders, and a pipe. Originally, I planned for her to sit on a bubble, but a mushroom will probably be much simpler. I'm working on this project. I would be very happy if you wrote in the comments which of the unrealized designs you like the most and which one you think I should realize first. If you don't want to miss the video with the caterpillar and Alice, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for deciding to check out my scribblers, and your support means the most to me. I love reading your comments and appreciate the feedback, so I'll see you in the next video.